This episode is brought to you by Squarespace, the all-in-one platform that makes it fast and easy to create your own professional website or online portfolio. For a free trial and 10% off your first purchase, go to squarespace.com and use offer code SHAMELESS.
You're listening to the AFTERBUZZ TV network, now the largest new media platform on the web, and your number one source for after-show entertainment.
Very good, Keith Johnson.
From the AFTERBUZZ Studios in Los Angeles, California, presented by Maria Menounos and streaming live thanks to Akamai Technologies, this is AFTERBUZZ TV's Shameless After Show. We'll break down tonight's episode and get you all the latest news and gossip. And now, another post-game wrap-up show for your favorite TV show. It's AFTERBUZZ TV's Shameless After Show.
Yay!
Yes.
Hey guys, we are back with another Shameless AFTERBUZZ TV show. This is episode 10 called Liver, I Hardly Knew Her.
I just read that. That's why I was laughing.
I'm wondering why you're cracking up. I'm just so happy that we have the whole band back together for this week. I missed you guys so much last week.
I missed you too.
So anyway, I'm your host, JJ Jurgens, and I'm joined here tonight by
Drea Renee.
And Joyce Ajouri. Hey, guys.
And in the booth.
Hello, ladies and gentlemen. Phil Svitek here.
All right. Well,
Oh my God.
an amazing episode tonight. So much stuff going on.
To say the least.
Emotional. I had like a physical reaction.
Yeah.
Like,
I went through a lot.
I
went through a
did.
lot this episode in that last hour.
Talk about that, like ups and downs.
I mean,
feeling-
I told you guys I was sweating. Like, I was sweating
Yeah.
during the whole operation, like finding out what's going on with Frank and just feeling bad for everybody.
And I was saying, like, I wasn't able to, like, even process anything. Like, as soon as something would happen, I was like, oh my God, can I? And then there would, like, be something else happening. And I'm like, I can't even deal with my emotions. Oh my God, what's happening?
I know you were right next to me, and you're like, "Oh my, there's so much happening right now."
I literally kept
Yeah.
saying, I can't do this, like 85 times.
I think that's what's hard sometimes now when we come on right after, because it's like we have no time to process it and like
Exactly.
just take in what we just saw. And tonight we just saw
This was a
lot.
heavy episode.
Yeah, it was a lot.
Really heavy.
It was a lot.
Well, let's start off by talking about Kev and Mickey and their little.
Yeah, I mean, that
Relationship.
just threw me for a loop, too, because I was like,
Yeah.
wait, really? Now you're going to go kill Kev?
Well, I didn't think about this before, but after the whole scene with Kev threatening Mickey, I was like, okay, what was Kev thinking going into business with Mickey in the first place?
Exactly.
Yeah.
And I understand that he's trying to make ends meet. He's got babies. And yeah, maybe he'll do anything out of desperation. But then I'm just like, oh, that's right. It's Mickey. Like any little
everybody
thing you
knows
do,
that. Right.
he'll turn on you.
Right.
Like, he's
That.
not messing around.
No.
Yeah, and
Yeah.
especially, granted, their situation was having multiple babies coming, and they were in dire straits, but it's like you might stop and think, like, is this really going to be the best thing
I
for my
know. 'Cause
family?
He
or
will
is
come
this-
after you, and
Yeah.
you just had 2 babies. And,
Well,
like, go ahead.
I mean, the problem is more with that, like, when he made that threat, you're going to see him.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? It's
Exactly.
not like this is a
Yeah.
random guy
He's not-
you're stealing off the street. Like,
No.
eventually, you will have to deal with this.
Like,
Yeah.
that
Yeah.
later that evening. Like,
Yeah.
he's going to be there. Kevin, I think he just completely, like, stopped thinking and was just thinking about the babies,
Yeah.
which I totally get. But it's like now you have to live in fear that Mickey's going to come after you and he's going to be at the bar because the girls are
Yeah.
still there. They're not leaving.
Yeah.
And he needs that money
You
too.
can't just kick Mickey out.
No.
He won't just settle for that.
No. So
I
I'm
just-
interested to see what's going to happen with that.
I was with you where when he just when we heard the noise
Yeah.
of the boys out there throwing the things
Oh
in the
my
street,
God.
and I was just like, oh no, if Mickey comes in, if anything happens to Kev or
I
V
would
after
freak
they
out.
just had we have
Yeah.
like a moment of happiness, and if something happens to him right now, I couldn't have taken it tonight.
That's actually one of the moments I was, perspiring. Like, I was like, oh my God, V and the babies. Oh my God, they're not making any sound. Oh my God, please don't shoot anybody. It was really scary. And it's funny because he's trying to be so protective, but here he is putting his
It's
family in
irresponsible
danger.
still, yeah.
Yeah, but again, he's doing it for them.
And then he almost shoots.
Yeah.
He
Yikes.
shoots in the house, and then that silence when I thought like he hit V or the babies, like then I like was jumping out of my seat. I was like,
That
okay,
scared me.
this is not this. Okay, come on, really? Like, give us a break here.
I'm so glad they chose not to, because I mean,
no, you can't.
after already having Liam this season, like just to have something happen to V, or it just would have been.
And they went through all that for those babies. To have it end like that would have been terrible.
Yeah.
It would have been terrible.
But luckily they didn't do that. They
Yeah.
just wanted to scare us a little bit.
And they succeeded.
Yeah, they did.
Remember, like Shanola said, she shot that scene 4 days before she gave birth to her real child.
That's right.
Yeah.
That's right.
And she posted that photo, like she told us, with her 2 husbands.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was
Yeah,
really,
that's
really
adorable.
cute. I like
Yeah.
that on Instagram.
That's cute.
Yeah, she's still the greatest. Well, along talking about the Mickey line, let's go ahead and talk about, what do you guys think about Ian and his kind of strange behavior these days?
I'm just completely in like shock with him. It doesn't make any sense because like you can't tell like what he's on and what he's doing. He's just acting strange. It's obvious he's on something, but I just don't know what it is. And he's
Here's what's
so
interesting is some of it makes sense. Like some of it's obviously good, others are not. You know what I mean? But it's right now. It's the same thing with Kevin pulling out the gun on Mickey. Like it's just a quick fix.
Yeah.
But I do, and to that regard, like when speaking about the Mickey situation, he, Ian goes to Mickey and says, "Hey, you can't do this. He's Kevin, he's family." So again, that part of it makes sense, and yeah, him
right.
working
He did
out
have
is
that
fine.
rational moment.
Yeah.
You're right. It's like, is he in shock about something? It's like he's completely lost his personality.
He's either
Yeah.
on drugs or he's really trying to conceal something, or he's just really trying to put something that happened
But
in
that's
the
what I
back
mean. Like
of his
he's
mind.
like pushing something away.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think he's definitely still on drugs, and I think that's why we're getting the mixture of the behaviors. But I was really nervous when the probation officer came into the house, because I thought when she pulled out Deb's little shiv out of the pocket, I thought we were finally gonna see
What
drugs
was up with
from
Ian.
him. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah.
That time, but
I mean, even though all this stuff is crazy and going on, I still really like that Mickey and Ian are together.
I do
Yeah.
too.
I really do.
Yeah.
I like that little
Yeah.
like things are going on. Like, hey man, what's wrong with you? Because he's like trying to be macho but still concerned. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? I was like, that's kind of cute.
Well, we will find out, as per Emmy Rossum's Twitter, because she live tweeted during the show. She said that we will find out about Ian next episode.
Good.
Okay, good.
So we don't have to wait that long. Although there are only 2 episodes left. I know.
I know.
ask
I
you-
can't believe
I thought
it.
there were 5. I don't know why I
Yeah.
thought that.
Let me ask you about 2 things. The first being, remember when he comes back and Lip is trying to study German philosophy, which again is hard enough on a good day, but he's like talking about pianos and whatnot. and-
Drums and guitar. We should learn the
Guitars.
guitar. That's what we should do. We should all learn the guitar.
Yeah.
What?
Yeah.
I mean, it's all well and good to kind of want to rise above it. That's what Lip is doing, but he's doing it in the more practical sense. Whereas
Normal,
you can't just you understand why you've never had a piano in your life.
Yeah.
Like A, you can't afford it. B, it's just too crazy. Like everything you've had, it's not for that. You can't all of a sudden have free time
So
to yourself.
why is
Yeah.
he questioning that then? Is that
Again-
what you're saying? Was that what you're trying to get at?
Yeah, so he's making sense. Like on the flip side, in terms of making sense, right? With Mandy, he's trying to protect her in the best
Yeah.
because he sees this as spousal abuse and
Oh, right. Yes. He defended Mandy.
So he's just all over the board, and it's driving me nuts.
It
Yeah.
really is,
Yeah.
because they keep pointing it out. Like, I feel like every 3 or 5 minutes there was some weird moment with Ian, and then the knife with what's his name, Kenyatta. I'm really offended by
Something
that
like
damn
that.
name. I'm like, really, does his name have to be Kenyatta?
But I also
Come on
thought
now.
Mandy said Terry. Am I totally hearing things?
Maybe he was just saying that as being rude
I don't
or something.
remember.
Maybe he was. Maybe his name is Terry.
I'm not sure.
But yeah, Ian's face when he had the knife to his neck, I was just like, this dude is not working with a full deck. Like,
But see, I thought that Ian was closer to the version that we know.
Yeah. Me
So
too.
to me, I was like, okay, this is the Ian that I remember that would do something like this, not
Yeah.
the Ian that's all like distracted and kind of all over the place.
Yeah, exactly. I miss the old Ian. I want to see that personality back.
Yeah.
he just seems so strange.
And while we're on that, what do you guys think about, Mandy letting him back, or Terry, whatever his name we ever
Kenyatta or
yeah,
Terry.
Kenyatta,
Figure it
Terry.
out.
Canary.
Back there sitting in their house for dinner, making him dinner.
It's like she went into shock too or something, and she just and I'm like, what happened that she went back home? She literally just got done telling
You know what?
Debbie,
The sad part is, it's not an uncommon thing.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? That's and so I'm not surprised by it. but it obviously is very disheartening.
It's disheartening because it's Mandy. Like, she doesn't take shit.
Exactly what she told Debbie. She's like, if somebody slaps you, take them in the eye. Like, she's a strong woman. Don't mess with me. And then I'm like, really?
That's exactly what I was going to say. It's like, I would take it from anybody else because I do know that it happens and I understand. But yeah, she doesn't take shit.
Yeah.
And it's like, and especially that she already was okay with walking in and watching him with the Russian prostitute
that's
before.
right. That's
so, I
right.
mean,
Yeah,
that should have
yeah.
been enough. And
Yeah.
then let alone now to get beat up by, I would think that she would be not having that at all. So I was very disappointed in her this episode.
Me too. I wonder, this is probably the guy that she's actually afraid of. I mean,
Yeah.
she's not really, maybe she's afraid of her dad. Maybe he has tendencies like her father. Maybe she's just actually afraid of this guy.
Honestly, I don't get the point of this relationship because what it's doing for the storyline. Like, it's not really like, because every time they show them, they're just like, it's just like some dude she's fighting with, but it's not like moving anything.
I've kind of felt that way too.
I was
And
like,
there's
why
no
is
like
it here?
connection with them. It's just all negative. I mean, and
Like,
then-
where did he come from?
and especially because
Yes, he just showed up.
and you always see that she still has feelings for Lip, obviously. And so this guy just went to Lip's campus last
Right.
week and tried to, beat him up. And so it's like,
I think
oh,
he's just
why
there
are
to
you-
kind of be another added stress on Lip.
Okay. Maybe. Okay.
I don't know.
I mean, I think, where Mandy can't help Ian, so she's blind to kind of what's going on there. At least, maybe not so much blind, but she just doesn't have the time. She can't help Lip. So, and this season is really more realistic than we've ever seen.
Oh, yeah.
And so while it may not be the most interesting storyline or make the most sense, it's just kind of, in terms of realism, this seems to fit really well, and it just kind of brings everything down. And again, it doesn't have to necessarily move that storyline forward, but I think it is affecting the other ones.
Maybe this is kind of the way to give Mandy some sort of consequence for what happened with oh my gosh.
Laura Wiggins'
yeah.
character.
Yes. What is wrong with my brain right now?
I thought
oh
of her
no,
when I
Phil
saw
and
it.
Karen.
Jeez.
Phil and I did that last week
yeah.
for about 5 minutes, so don't feel
My
bad.
God.
I thought of her when I saw
It's been a
Bonnie.
while. It's been a while.
Yeah.
So maybe this is kind of just the show's way of giving her that consequence. Like, she
That's a
can't
good- yeah.
just run her over and then like no one's
And then be with
nothing's
Lip and be
happening with
happy.
her.
Yeah.
That's a good thought.
I don't know.
Who knows?
Karma's
still
getting her a
sucks.
little bit.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Right in the face.
Yeah.
That sucks.
It does suck.
All right. Well, let's move on to one of our favorite now troublesome duos. We got Bonnie and Carl.
Girl, she kind of reminds me of Karen. I don't know why.
Yeah?
When I first saw
I
her
can see
face,
that.
I thought about Karen. I was like, oh, I miss Karen.
Maybe she'll be the new Karen-esque
Yeah.
character.
I mean, actually, I hope she's not. I mean, she's like this sweet little innocent girl is like causing all this havoc. And I'm just like, really, girl?
I thought it was so funny that amongst their, in their entire storyline, there's that one bit of innocence when they just want to steal candy and cupcakes.
Yeah.
I was like, okay, they're still 12 years old.
I thought that was cute too.
She was getting it for her family, right?
For those kids that they were like staying around.
Yeah,
or
was that
something.
her family or no?
Yeah, I think what I like about it is that, leave it to Shameless to all of a sudden bring in a family more
Yeah.
up than those guys.
Yeah.
I'm like in the van.
And poor Carl, kind of he's kind of grasping the situation even more. He says like, "Oh, you guys don't live above the supermarket because that'd be gross." No, we live in the van.
Yeah.
Oh, that's nice.
Yeah, that's cool. That's cool. That's cool.
And when did we ever think that we would see Carl shocked by anything and anyone?
True.
I think it's kind of fun to see his face as she does these things because
Right.
he was always the one that would be like,
Well,
oh,
she's
boy,
crazier
Carl.
than him.
Yeah,
she's
she's crazier.
so much crazier.
Let's rob a bank, she said. I was like, what? This girl is nuts.
Yeah.
And like to see Carl like on the edge of like, wait, are you serious? That's it really interesting.
Here's what I'm worried. What I'm
ahead.
worried about is, we saw the mom of Bonnie, and she's just like, yeah, the keys are in there. I'm gonna go do whatever it is that she's gonna do, and it just goes to show that they don't have someone really, taking the reins and taking the responsibility.
That's true.
And at least in the Gallagher family, it used to be Fiona, not so much anymore, and that's what worries me because this is quite a foreshadowing of what's really going on with Karl and Debbie. They're just taking matters into their own hands, doing whatever they want, and Ian for that part too. And so, Fiona does need to get back to her old
Yeah,
former
she
self.
does.
Yeah.
Although I do like seeing Lip really grow up in this
Yeah,
season.
I do too.
Like totally changed.
Yeah, he's just like taking over, and it's really nice to see that.
I agree. All right. Well, before we dive into Sheila,
Well, I want to talk about in terms of Karl before the last words bit. I thought
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
if they had anything nice, I thought that was a nice moment.
What did he say?
Screw it.
Yeah, that was his last
I
bit.
missed the last part.
But he was prying her of like, hey, what was the last thing you said to your dad?
Right.
And she said, I don't, I didn't realize it was the last time, so it was really insignificant. So Karl, in his own way, was like, okay, screw it, and that to him, that's the most meaningful thing you could say.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I like that.
Yeah, having some good moments.
Yeah.
Like this season. All right. Well, before we dive into more, I want to talk to you guys a little bit about a wonderful opportunity you guys have if you were looking to make some of your websites on your own. We all know websites can be very expensive, very time consuming, but Squarespace is the place that you guys need to go if you really want to get a killer website. This episode is brought to you by Squarespace, and it's the all-in-one platform that makes it fast and easy to create your own professional website or online portfolio. And if you want to give a free trial and 10% off your first purchase, go to squarespace.com and use the offer code Shameless from this show. And I don't know how you guys have what experience you've had trying to make your own websites, but I know when I made mine, it was at first I
be
paid,
really hard.
Yeah, and I first paid
confusing.
somebody, and it was really expensive, and I tried to do things on my own, and it's frustrating because I don't know how to
Here's what
do things, but
most of the time when you get a web designer, they turn out like the doctor in tonight's episode, where they like promise you all
Yes.
these things.
Yes, I've had a bunch of friends deal with that.
They promise you a they promise you a liver, and they take your kidney.
Good tie-in.
that's very true.
Squarespace will not do that.
They're not going to take your
They
kidneys,
promise you
people.
a liver, they give you a liver. Except in this case, the liver being a website.
That summed it up more than anything I could say.
I will say
it's totally true.
it's a lot sleeker and cleaner. I've used the competitors. I've done that before, and I've done it myself. And it's it was really daunting and annoying that I kind of just gave up. I have a website that's currently incomplete, but when I took a look at the Squarespace website, it looked so much easier and sleeker. I'm impressed.
And I like that they have somebody 24 hours a day, 7 days a week that can help you too, because that's the other thing. Like lots of times if you try to do these other places, then
You
it's
have
like,
to wait till
you
Monday
wait,
through Friday,
you can't get a hold of
right.
anybody, or every little step along the way, then that's going to cost you extra. And I like that they have these people there and they help you out and they're friendly and they make it very simple.
And it's great for if you have a small business or any type of business, really, you're selling stuff online. Squarespace is very simple and easy for that. Also, it's what they call responsive. So any device you have, again, so many different platforms, whether iPads, iPhones, Androids, desktops, all that. So it looks great on every website or every platform, not just on a desktop or whatever else. So, simple and easy. And promo code Shameless.
There
10%
you
off
go.
your first purchase.
Yeah, and you
Check it
don't
out,
even have to
guys.
use your credit card. You can just start your trial without putting any credit card information either, which I love because you don't have to
That's helpful.
get dinged later or something.
Yeah.
All right, that's great. Let's go ahead and dive into Sheila.
Sheila and her shoulders.
Bless her. Yeah, still in the wedding
Her
dress from
super
last.
dated wedding dress.
I love it. I loved watching her
so
sit
cute.
there, make the arrangements, and her like little shoulder sleeve things. It was
Oh,
so
man.
cute.
Yeah, I cannot love her anymore. She's so fun.
She's amazing, and I love her reason for wanting to get married.
No, I know.
but
it's amazing.
now she's kind of screwed.
yeah.
She's hilarious to me, and I was expecting Sammi to stop her.
Yeah, so was
I was
Yeah.
waiting for Sammi to be like, "Get a freaking grip, lady! Like,
Yeah.
this is not a good idea."
And this is not a good time. He's dying.
Yeah.
But and I love how they kept doing the play on words of like, I'm so thrilled.
Oh,
You know?
yeah. That
What
was
was the
great.
first one she said about God? I can't remember what he said.
He's ready to give into God's will.
Well, yeah.
That
I
was
need
great.
more pills.
That just goes to show that Sammy's the only one that really understands Frank.
Yeah, they
Not
had
just
a nice moment.
Yeah,
too.
not just in that sense, but overall.
like
she
bringing alibi to them. Like, oh, it was so beautiful to watch.
Well, it's
Yeah.
such funny little moments. I mean, even when they think he's dead, and and they're leaning over, and Sheila's gonna give him CPR, and then he reaches up. It's like good comic
And I
relief,
don't
too.
blame Sheila for being kind of like nonchalant about him dying. And like, they just took her furniture, came into her house, and she's like, yeah, okay. And like, Frank's put her through a lot of stuff. She's like, just don't die.
Yeah.
Right now.
Yeah, they never. I mean, to me, I never thought they had a really real romantic connection.
No.
It was purely sexual. It was
And
totally come and
convenient
go.
for him.
And-
yeah.
exactly.
He needed a place to stay, and
Yeah.
Sheila needed
and
a place
she had
to
her
put
own
her
selfish
toys.
reasons. Like she wouldn't
Yeah.
if he lived or died, whatever, as long as she got what she wanted.
She's like, Frank, I'm taking some tips from
It
you.
did make me a little sad for her this
Yeah.
this episode tonight, though, because it's just like how much she was reaching to have those kids. And I mean, she hasn't even known those kids very long either,
I
you
know.
know?
She
It's
just wants
like
somebody in
she
the house.
always, yeah.
Yeah.
I mean,
I know.
which is sweet. But
That's gonna make things interesting if she brings those kids in. They're gonna have another
Yeah.
big family to deal with on Shameless.
And that's a lot of kids on
Yeah,
set. Oh my
yeah.
God, that's a
like
lot of kids
Shanola
on
said,
set.
we're gonna deal with a lot of babies and kids.
Yeah, so maybe she will get them.
Yeah, I think so. But now that Frank's alive, and they're
Yeah.
well, they did bring up a good point in the show. Is he divorced from Monica officially?
Yeah, I don't think he is. They've never talked about that. As far
Yeah.
as the show goes, I'm pretty sure he's still married,
Yeah.
right?
I'm sure they would have tied that end at some point.
Yeah, so I'm like,
well,
is
maybe
that,
that'll come back up, and then she won't get the kids.
and then she won't get the kids. Yeah.
Shoot.
Which I wouldn't be sad. I don't really want to see her get all those kids.
No, me neither.
No. I
It'll
think-
give her a purpose, but maybe this will just make way for Karen to come back.
I think I would
I
love
really
to
want
see
her to
that,
come back.
and like Phil kind of brought up last week, it's like I want her to see her taking more care of the Gallaghers again.
Yeah.
You know, being
Yeah, they
more
need it.
involved in
They
that.
really
yeah.
Oh, they need it now.
Yeah.
For sure.
What do you guys think about obviously desperation sets in really fast, and when she hears 25,000 for a liver, we're on from there in the worst of ways. And this was this was the biggest robbery I've ever seen.
Ever seen.
Oh.
I mean, I felt so bad for them because, these people like to come up with that kind of money. I mean, anybody really, but especially this family. And they came up with it. They figured it out and it's gone.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's gone.
And
Like,
we were
what?
none of us saw that coming.
I
know.
not even shocked. Not even.
I was actually thinking they were going to go to jail or some like police thing was going
Yeah.
to happen with them getting the liver transplant and all this stuff. I didn't think that they were going to say, oh yeah, they took his kidney.
Well, it's funny because we were kind of talking because we were surprised at the trailer from last week because they really showed a lot.
They
And
gave a lot
and we
away.
felt like they really, yeah. 'cause
saw
we
the
saw
episode.
we saw Fiona in trouble. We
Yeah.
saw the transplant, all this stuff. So we were saying like, yeah, they shouldn't have showed that because we didn't want to know,
Exactly.
But they
Little
did
did
still
we
end up
know.
turning.
They're like,
Yeah,
"Oh, don't
they
you
did
worry.
get-
Don't you
yeah, we
worry."
still got something in store for you guys. So they got us.
I like
still,
their
but-
technique because the guy who I guess is now getting the kidney. He didn't speak English very well at
Yeah.
all, and they're like, "Oh, hi," and he's like, "Hi."
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
And so they played that really well of like him just not knowing like, wow, we're about to take this guy's liver,
Yeah.
and he's getting 5,000, so
Yeah.
they played with that really well in
God.
terms of the audience.
And him trying to get out of it at the last minute, like,
Yeah.
no,
Yeah.
never
Oh
mind.
yes, that
No.
was a nice little move on their
Yeah.
part.
I guess we should have seen something coming because this guy looked relatively healthy. I mean, he didn't seem like he was in dire, but then he did
Right.
take the kidney, so I don't know.
So they just on the black market, and that freaks me out. I'm like, does stuff like that really go on? But I guess it does.
Yeah.
Where they take your money. Could you imagine like giving someone
sure.
25,000 in a freaking plastic bag and it's gone? I mean, that's what you get for using the black market, I
Yeah.
guess.
And I
That's
loved how
real.
like, hey, give it 10 minutes. Why? Because like we'd get arrested or something like that.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
That's
Yeah.
true. They packed up and left right away.
Yeah.
Right. And they didn't know anything to look for the incision or anything. Oh, that's so crazy.
That's ridiculous.
And the cops were so funny when they got there. They're like, wait,
What? And
Yeah,
so that's
where
why
is
I thought they were like, you're going to go to jail. They're going to start questioning
Yeah.
them. That's where I thought that storyline was going. But,
But they were so, I don't know if it's to their credit or whatever, but Sheila and Sammi, they were just like so nonchalant about it, of like where initially they said, he just recently had a liver transplant.
Oh, like 20 minutes
And they're like,
ago.
I know,
yeah,
yeah.
exactly.
that was great.
Sheila's faces are priceless. Like when she was telling her about, she's like, stop telling Sammi about Frank dying. She was like, can you just please? And she was like, she
Yeah.
was so funny. She's like, you're being a Debbie Downer.
She's so
Frank
good.
is not dying on me.
No, I love, Phil, how you were freaking out that maybe he was actually going to die this episode.
Well, because, how you going to just kill off William H.
can't.
Macy?
You can't.
No
you
way.
can't have him die.
I mean, I will say him all of a sudden getting a liver was a little like, really? Okay.
You mean at the end?
Yes. I thought it was a little much,
Is that how it works in real life? I don't know. Like, if you're
I
on a
don't
waiting list
know.
and you're critical and you're already at the hospital, are they just going to
Do they do that?
Do they do that?
I don't know. Phil,
And you
I don't,
weren't?
I mean,
Medical professional.
I wouldn't really put it past, I mean, I don't think it's a little bit far-fetched, but not too
Yeah.
far-fetched. And especially when they know what this guy's gone through, like they're gonna have
That's
to
true.
try to help him out. You know, I mean, we don't know how much it'll cost. It could still end up costing a lot, or they could have gotten an actual liver transplant for free.
Oh yeah, I'm
more
sure
like
something
26,000, but
Yeah.
Exactly. I'm sure something like that.
I
happened.
don't know. If I was in charge and I have somebody like Frank versus other people probably on that list, or maybe some young kids or something, I don't think I'd be giving it up to Frank.
I don't know.
Well,
Even in the last
I
minute.
feel like-
I
I
mean,
feel
as
like-
much as I love him.
I feel like legally they might have to. Like they have to do everything in their power
Right,
to
exactly, yeah.
help somebody.
could the irony be that it's the other guy who got the kidney?
Maybe. That would be hilarious.
We'll do a little research before next week
Yeah.
on the whole
I
process.
guess we
We'll
should.
see what happens.
We'll become medical professionals
Yeah.
by the end of
And to go back
next
to
week.
Sheila really quick, I was really interested to see what happened with her in Running Tree. What was it, Running Tree?
Yeah.
But it turned out
Roger
he was,
Running Tree.
He was
Yeah,
a Mexican.
He had an anger problem.
He was more Mexican than Indian.
Yeah, more
they said.
She was
Indian.
more
Indian.
American Indian than him.
Yeah.
I wanted to see him come back just for like an episode, but or I wanted to see them together. Like I thought they would maybe follow that storyline a little bit.
It would have been kind of fun to see when she discovered that from
Yes.
him and kind of see how she
That's
reacted because versus her just telling it.
But yeah. All right, Sheila.
That's all good. She's happily married now.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Or is she? Because
Maybe.
he's still alive.
Well, now they're gonna. I mean, if she can go through with this whole adoption thing, there's gonna be some beef there. Something's gonna happen.
Frank will
between-
probably try to say, "Yeah, well, I need to get money." You
if
know he's
if
gonna
it
say
even
that.
gets that far.
Right,
Yeah,
right.
that would be cool to find
Yeah.
out.
Yeah. We shall see. All right. Anything else on those guys? Shall we move on to Fiona?
do
Fiona.
Oh, poor girl.
That opening scene was like really intense.
They wasted
started
no
right
time.
Yeah.
No, they just like went right into
Yeah.
it. She's like snorting and drinking and doing whatever else
Popping
she was doing.
peels,
And the people were
taking
were they having
shots.
sex on the couch? Did I see that correctly?
While she was
I was like,
People were having
doing
fun.
coke.
Yeah.
Phil, is that your idea of fun?
that was an intense.
No
like,
comment.
party.
Minus the drugs. Also, let's start with there.
yeah. That was an intense party. I was
Oh
like,
my
wow.
gosh. I was really expecting the cops to show up at Robbie's place when
Me
her
too.
when her ankle bracelet
I
was
thought that's
going
how
off.
those things work.
Isn't it? Like they come right away, don't they? I don't know. Again,
a day?
one thing I don't know that
I was
works.
surprised at that much time because as much as she was like running and diving to get in there, you know, before
Right.
it went off before, I thought it would be more immediate that they'd be at her house if she wasn't responding than
But
the
maybe
whole
they
later
just have
day.
so many people. Maybe there's like a mild grace period of like a day
Yeah.
or two, and they
Maybe.
give you like a chance. But I think she
Maybe
was
it
gone
depends
for like
on
2 days.
your felony.
Yeah,
maybe.
Yeah. Maybe it depends.
I don't know.
But
Probably.
it's
Do some
clear
research.
she's
Yeah.
like hit her breaking point and like completely lost her mind. And when she was crying with what's his name, the brother
Robbie.
Robbie. When she was crying, I was like, are they gonna make out? Like at the end of the last, episode. Yeah.
Yeah.
I thought
was
they
like,
were
oh, they're about
too.
to
She was
bang.
gonna go in
Or
for
she was
yeah.
gonna just hug him, or he was gonna hold her and console her, but he's not the consoling type.
Yeah, she made me so mad because I thought in that moment you could tell that she was still attracted to him and still like had a thing for him. I'm like, Fiona.
Yeah.
I get it. The bad guys always look interesting.
What I liked about this episode, this is kind of on the same level, but when Debbie and Ian went over to Robbie's house finally, and little Debbie like, stay away from our sister. I like that aspect of
But
it.
she comes to
too.
them. They don't know that she's always approaching him. Like
Yeah.
she's always
Right.
showing up at his place when she could just call or text. I mean, granted, he showed up at her house when she was on house arrest.
But I think that humiliation of the cup incident, she just was like, when they showed her in slow motion the last episode, and she just like lost everything. And when you're feeling that low, it's sort of this weird sabotage. You're like, how can I go any lower? So she went over there, like subconsciously looking to just check out.
Yeah.
You know, she was like, I just want to turn off the
makes
feelings,
sense.
and this is the guy to do it.
She's going back to being, carefree like she never was able to be before.
Well, and I think there's probably that part of her too that it was like unsettling for her because if she did kind of have an attraction to him and then he screwed her over that badly and kind of that she never got to get that last like lashing out at him kind of there, but then it's that thin line.
I was about to
between love and
say,
hate.
you're like, I
And then,
hate you, but let's
Yeah.
sneak out.
Yeah.
Oh.
That's tough. I was reading some more of Emmy's tweets while she was live tweeting, and she said in the beginning scene, you know how she's like spinning around and
Yeah.
it's kind of really showcasing how high she is. She's like, it took 5 Red Bulls, lots of sweat, and purposely turning in a circle to achieve optimum dizziness.
I was wondering how they shoot
That was
those
probably
scenes.
totally real.
Yeah.
And also when she was vomiting in the car, that was real chicken soup.
Oh, that was so gross.
Well, they do a great job of making her look so
Don't
bad
they make her look
too,
bad?
like just
Her
worn
hair?
and like and she's like pasty and you know all the ways you look. You
Their
know,
lips
like-
look chapped. I mean,
Yeah.
they do a great job. Like she looks terrible.
Yeah.
She was stranded at the gas station, right? They just left her. Like totally no one that cared about her was with her that night. And
But
then,
even just it just speaks more to, first off, they left Robbie. Robbie didn't even know.
yeah.
I mean,
And
really.
they left her. Their biggest concern was her puking up the car. And again, you would think like
They didn't care.
yeah, they just left her.
I couldn't imagine
And
leaving
I
someone
wonder-
with no shoes.
Yeah, and I wonder why the decision to get in the car with them versus not just staying there. At
I don't
Probably-
think she had any.
I don't
Yeah,
think she had
idea
any
of what
She
was
was
going
probably
on.
She's on ecstasy.
Gone.
Yeah,
So
she was like done.
lucid
What the
and-
Compass girl said.
Not lucid, sorry.
Yeah. She was
Totally.
completely
Yeah, because I
lucid.
guess they did show she woke up like in the back, just kind of like.
And she was like, the ecstasy. And she's like, wait, what? She's like,
Yeah.
you already took it, honey.
Yeah.
So she like literally went on a ride, figuratively and literally.
Yeah.
That's so sad. And leave it to Lip to come rescue her.
I did like to see
Yeah.
this. I like to finally see them kind of putting all the tension that they've had all season. you
Yeah.
know,
Because I thought
and
he was going to go in. I did. I
Yeah.
did think he was going to go in. But I guess that conversation that Ian had and Debbie before, where they were like, I think he was saying, like, don't feel bad. Because she's like, I haven't even spoken to her. Remember Debbie was saying that when they were all fighting? And then I like that he was giving her coffee and being sweet to her and, like, giving her a space to, like, be human and mess up. You know?
Yeah. And I mean, I guess we'll see what happened. It might not turn out well, but like for right now, we didn't see it ruining his school. Like he was still able to
I
take
know,
the
yeah.
test and
Yeah.
and study. And so I like that. I don't
honest.
see it go bad.
Quickly on a side note, I think it's thanks to this amazing
Amanda.
girl-
Yeah, we need to talk about that. Yes. That was a whole thing.
They're going to be
schedule.
6 to 9ing later, and that guy don't care.
She'd be sitting on his face.
I love that she was like, blowjobs not for 45 minutes.
And I love the roommate. I love that he's like, oh, I hear. Like he just, it's
I
funny.
mean, that was
I love that she thinks
crazy.
that she's so smart, and she's like, oh, he can't hear me. Blah blah blah. And he's like,
Yeah.
what? I don't care. I hear. Her.
He
You
like,
know,
just doesn't care. He's like,
love
you're my
him.
college girlfriend. I don't give a shit.
And
Yeah,
that, and
I
that
love
look
him.
and that look Lip gave when his roommate was like, I heard everything.
yeah, it's awesome.
That was so funny.
But she really is helping him out. Because at first I was like, who the hell is going to go to Wisconsin and get Fiona? Nobody has a car.
Yeah.
Like, and then he just has a car. I was like, oh, well, that's cool. Yeah. Because of his
Yeah.
new girlfriend or whatever.
I think it's amazing that, and we've been juggling with this whole thing the entire season. Like, should Lip be mad at her?
Right.
Should he not be mad at her? And a lot of people in our comments were saying that Lip shouldn't, cut her some slack. He shouldn't forgive her. Like, she's doing all this bad stuff. But it's like,
I
he
think
found
he
it in
should.
himself to step back and be like, she did do a lot for this family.
Yeah.
She did do a lot
A lot
for
of
me
sacrifice.
for years. And, she's slipping up. Hopefully this is her only time.
Right. It's not like
So-
it's been like a year and a year after year of her messing up. It's like she's done like, a month or
and
so
she
of
realizes herself that
Yeah.
she's turning into Frank, and she doesn't want to be a Frank or Monica. Like
yeah,
she
she's
said.
not like just like doing it and not remorseful about it. Like she's actually sorry, and I think that's what they were showing with her at the gas station. It looks like she was really out in the cold for real.
Yeah,
In Wisconsin.
Yeah, that's what made it okay for me this time for him to forgive her because I do feel like she was acknowledging that she hit rock bottom, that she needs help, and that she's definitely fucked up. And I think that before. For me, she wasn't acknowledging that. She was just like...
Because she was still drinking and doing stuff.
After exactly. And
Yeah.
I just felt like if you really felt remorseful for what happened to, Liam, you would not be drinking boxed wine and drinking,
No,
getting
it wouldn't
drunk
even be
and
in the
like,
house.
No,
Yeah.
you'd be like, no, keep this away from me.
Yeah.
I don't even want to be tempted. Just no. And so I felt like, yeah. So I understood him then. So I'm like, yeah, she's not taking responsibility for it.
Yeah.
But at least this time to me, it felt like she was
It's a
definitely
hard
like
thing
reaching
to
out for help.
decide. Yeah. Do you think that maybe she? I mean, this might be kind of far fetched, but that maybe she kind of let loose a little bit because she believes that Lip is really handling everything well. She's like, okay, maybe I'm allowed to screw up and it's fine because, Lip is handling everything and he's organizing his time. I mean, of course, she feels bad, but
Right.
maybe she just feels a little more
Maybe
comfortable, quote unquote.
subconsciously, but I feel like I said earlier, I think that moment at the cup place, she just really like shut down and became numb, and all sense of responsibility when she saw Robbie was like out the door, and she's like, I've had it. Like, I need a minute. And so she just took it.
But also, I mean, for a while, she realized that she thought the kids don't need her anymore.
Yeah.
Right.
You know? So it's
Yes.
like,
That's
what,
like Debbie said,
what
she's
should
like, I
I
haven't
be
even talked to
doing?
her
Like,
at all.
why should I care?
Yeah.
So maybe,
I think that was plain in there that she was just like, well, okay, well, they're all fine on their
Yeah.
own. They don't need me. I guess I can go ahead and
Right.
like, have a little fun and just kind of
Like when Ian was crying and Lip was already there, and she was just standing there like, okay, you know.
Yeah.
yeah,
I
she
think
didn't know
it's
her
a
role anymore, her place
Right.
anymore with them.
Yeah. I don't know. That might have something to do with it.
Yeah, I think so.
Oh, Fiona. They need to give her a break.
Yeah, well, it'll be interesting to see what happens.
Yeah.
We gotta get Robbie out. I think eventually the big thing's gonna be something with Robbie's gonna happen, and I think somehow Mike's gonna come back and
hope
and
so.
help
I thought he
us.
was going to come back last week in the office scene. I thought he was going to show
Same.
up.
So do you think, now that we're approaching the end of this season and going into another, do you think it's going to be like Mike coming back? Do you think we're ever going to see Steve Jimmy again coming back?
Well, he's still in the opening credits, damn it. Like,
right? Yeah.
At least I'm pretty sure that's his butt.
It is his butt.
Yeah.
He had a cute butt. It's his butt.
On Direct TV, his name is still in the
It
little-
is. I was just going to say that because I had to watch the episode, at home last week, and I was like, it still says his name right there.
Yeah.
So,
He'll come back. Maybe he'll come back at the very last episode. They'll do some sort of huge cliffhanger with him, maybe.
This year, you think?
Yeah. Maybe. That would be a good way to end
Yeah,
it.
it would.
Yeah.
It really would.
I don't know.
How about predictions?
All right.
Let's do it.
And now, your AfterBuzz TV predictions.
always makes me laugh.
Oh, boy.
2 left.
Crazy. Well, you kind of
Yeah.
said one prediction if you think Jimmy's going to come back at the
Yeah,
last
I
one.
think Jimmy will come back. I mean, that would make sense to me as a really good cliffhanger. Like I said, also we'll find out about Ian the next
Yeah, that's what I was gonna
episode,
say, Ian.
and I'm really scared for Kev. I think previously I mentioned that there's going to be something that V and Kev are going to kind of have differences about, or something's going to tear them apart somehow. And this whole gun situation or their job situation might be it. And I knew Fiona would go back to jail.
You did. You said
I
it.
knew
You
it.
said it. Yeah.
Y'all thought I was crazy.
Like, no, she would never.
No, she won't screw up again. Yeah.
I just think for me, I'm predicting. I mean, this isn't like a shocker, but Frank's gonna come back and just like wreck a bunch of havoc and cause a bunch of trouble and just be rude and not appreciative of anything that people have been doing for him.
That's a pretty good one.
Yeah.
I really want him to. I want him to get this liver and everything to be okay because I miss
I
honorary
do.
Frank.
Yeah.
Like I'm ready for him to.
I miss his
end this
chaos.
season with a bang. And
Yeah,
really,
that's why I
like,
really
switch
like
things
that they
up.
did that with him setting up the alibi in Sheila's house. It just seemed like he was like back to his old self,
Yeah.
even though he was like still sick.
Yeah. I don't have any big ones for next week. Other than I don't think this wedding's gonna go through, and I don't think Sheila's gonna get the kids.
Yeah,
Because
I don't
know.
I don't imagine seeing the kids next season or the next couple
I don't
episodes.
either.
Yeah. They were mean to her anyway. I don't want to. She can find some better kids to adopt.
Just take
She
care of the
could take in
Gallaghers.
Bonnie
nice
and
for
somebody.
them.
Yeah.
She could take in Bonnie's
Yeah.
family. That
Yeah.
would be interesting.
Oh, cool. Good call.
Okay.
I'm
never
interested.
know.
I really want Debbie and Karl to kind of, I want the ship to tighten up on them because they're just way too wild and loose
Yeah.
right now.
Yeah. Watching him drive off in that car with Bonnie and Lip's like, what the hell? I'm like,
Yeah.
how old is he?
Yeah.
I do. I have to say one of my favorite lines from the episode was from good old Debs, and I like when they found her little shiv in her bag, and she's like, "Oh, I use it for knitting."
Yeah.
And
And
then
that
we had
was-
to rewind in here because we
Yeah.
missed it. And we're like, "Oh, for knitting."
I love how
Nice.
quick she came up with it. It wasn't even a
I
second.
was thinking she's getting so much better with thinking on her toes.
Yes.
She's getting
It's for knitting.
Yeah.
Yep.
It's like, oh, okay.
Yeah, she's really good at that now.
I love her.
Yeah.
All right. Well, I think that about wraps up this episode then for us. So where can we
yes.
find you guys at?
You can find me on Twitter, Instagram, and Facebook at DreaRenee_N.
You can find me on Twitter at JAJOURI and on the Tuesday night Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. podcast.
And I'm at JJ Jurgens everywhere. Jurgens JJ on Instagram and on Nashville on Wednesday nights.
And follow us here on AfterBuzz, Instagram, Twitter, Facebook. It's just AfterBuzz TV. And don't forget, For a different family side, check out Chasing Maria Menounos, a reality show. And the number one question has always been thus far, is what you're seeing on TV real? Does she really live with her parents? And yes, she does. It's a behind-the-scenes look of our creator, Kevin Undergaro and Maria Menounos. You'll see bits of AfterBuzz there, so worth checking out. Tuesdays, 10/9 Central on Oxygen.
All right.
All right.
We'll see you next week for our final 2 episodes.
Bye.
From executive producers Maria Menounos, Kevin Undergaro, Phil Svitek, and the entire AfterBuzz TV staff, we would like to thank you for listening to the AfterBuzz TV network. To watch or listen to other after shows and post comments or questions, be sure to visit AfterBuzzTV.com. I'm Sir Richard Wentworth, and this has been a presentation of AfterBuzz TV.
Buzz you later.
The views expressed herein are those of the hosts only and do not necessarily reflect the views of AfterBuzz TV or its owners or principals.
Thank you for watching AfterBuzz TV on YouTube. For more of your favorite after shows and interviews, subscribe to our channel here, and be sure to share your opinion on the episode in the comment section below here. We'd love to see what you guys are buzzing about. Thanks again. Buzz you later.